I've been married to Caleb Cole for 5 years. But he's been carrying a torch for his first love. Treating me as cold as ice. When the Cole family needed an heir, he suggested we start trying for a baby. But at the critical moment, he ran off after getting a call from his first love. I was furious. So I called his younger brother Ethan Cole over. Come on, help your brother make an heir. Little did I know. This act of revenge would uncover the truth. I was the one who saved him 10 years ago. And he had loved the wrong person. Owing me a debt for 10 years. By the time he realized his mistake, I was pregnant with his brother's child. And there was no hope left for us. Caleb Cole and I were the perfect couple. Even in bed, everything was predictable and routine. Without wasting an ounce of energy. On the 305th stroke, he would lift his waist. On the 729th stroke, he would start to push harder. By the 1026th stroke, Caleb Cole would finally release. But today, when I counted to 1000, he suddenly pulled away and asked in a hoarse voice. Sorry, can I take the condom off? They're urging us to have an heir at home. I think we should start trying for a baby. I pondered what this meant for my interests. And just then, Caleb Cole's phone rang. Caleb Cole, my head hurts. Her soft voice was his first love. In less than a minute, Caleb Cole rushed out the door without a word of explanation. I lay there naked, feeling utterly bored. Staring at a clock that never stopped for me. It felt like slow suicide. Suppressing my anger, I dialed a number. I heard the Cole family needs an heir. I'll give you 10 minutes to come over and help me make one. The voice on the other end sounded urgent. Wait for me, sis-in-law. 10 minutes later, I opened the door to find Ethan Cole standing there. Sis-in-law, have you thought this through? I didn't speak, but grabbed his collar and pulled him in for a kiss. That night was full of passion and intensity. Afterwards, Ethan Cole had to rush back to the hospital for a night shift. I sat on the balcony with a cigarette, watching his car drive away. My phone lit up with a message from him. Sis-in-law, don't feel bad. I'll come back next time. I chuckled lightly, not replying, but instead lighting another cigarette. Before I finished half of it, Caleb Cole unexpectedly came back. He locked eyes with me from a distance, frowned, and walked toward me. Savannah Shen, didn't we agree to quit smoking? You should know how harmful smoking is to your health. But he didn't know. I started smoking to cope with the suffocating life I had with him. Caleb Cole hated the smell of smoke. And everything around him had to be clean. Which meant odorless. So I smoked in secret. Afraid of bothering his precious mood. Now that I think about it, when has he ever made me happy? The faint sweet scent of a young girl on him only confirmed that. I smirked and deliberately blew smoke in his direction. Mocking, Caleb Cole, sometimes I realize you're really too controlling. You have a real talent for being a father. Caleb Cole took a few steps back, his eyes showing surprise. After all, this was the first time I had spoken to him like that. He froze for a moment, then seemed to relent. Sorry, I shouldn't interfere in your life. But I was just thinking about our health. I crushed the cigarette out and scoffed. If you think living with me will kill you faster, then move out as soon as you can. With that, I brushed past him and went straight to the bedroom. I collapsed onto the bed, feeling completely drained. Ethan Cole was like a hungry wolf, eager to devour me. Completely different from Caleb Cole, who was like a machine. I remember the night we were supposed to have our wedding night, but he insisted on sleeping in a separate room. I was wearing sexy silk lingerie, bashfully looking at him. Caleb Cole, aren't we husband and wife? He looked at me with no emotion in his eyes, saying politely, oh, sorry, I forgot that marital duties include bedroom matters. Then he came forward, and with each step, asked coldly, I'm going to kiss you now, is that okay? Sorry, I might touch your private parts. Don't mind me, I'm going in. If it's uncomfortable, let me know right away. That night was my first time. And what I had imagined to be a romantic experience turned into a cold negotiation. And this negotiation played out for 5 years. It left my once passionate heart as cold as ice. 10 minutes later, the door opened. In the dim light, Caleb Cole's tall figure stood by the bed. Savannah Shen, you're mad, aren't you? I closed my eyes, my lashes trembling unconsciously. No wonder he would ask. For 5 years, I had almost always obeyed him. Caleb Cole was self-disciplined, living like a machine following set procedures. And I had no choice but to follow him as well. So we became the model couple everyone envied, respecting each other as if we were strangers. But before marrying him, My friends from abroad used to call me a free-spirited fairy, full of life and freedom. They never imagined how painful it would be when a fairy's wings were clipped. Seeing me sulking and silent, he sighed helplessly. If you have a problem, just say it. We'll solve it together. I don't like to drag things out. See, today's problem must be solved today. His rule again. First, this problem is something you can't solve. Second, it's bedtime now. I need rest. And this is the routine you set. Don't break your own rules. I didn't even open my eyes. Coldly saying, "What problem can't I solve?" Caleb Cole asked, puzzled. It was about Chloe Bennett. But I didn't say it. I couldn't be bothered with questions I already knew the answers to. The silence stretched on. He didn't know how long he stood there, but eventually lay down beside me, putting his arm around me. I stiffened. Aside from the night of intimacy, Caleb Cole almost never shared the bed with me. Now his actions were completely unusual, as if he were trying to comfort me. But there was no joy in my heart, only bitterness. And my body tensed up. After a while, I spoke quietly. "Caleb Cole, go sleep in the other room. I'm not used to this." A few seconds later, Caleb Cole left. His displeasure conveyed through the volume of the door slamming. But I wasn't bothered. I fell asleep peacefully. The next morning, I came out of my room and spoke to the housekeeper in the kitchen. "Jong Ma, make me a cup of coffee." Caleb Cole was already sitting at the dining table, wearing a well-tailored black suit. His eyes behind gold-rimmed glasses were as still as water. But when he heard my words, they darkened. "Jong Ma, don't make the coffee yet. Let my wife have breakfast first." I slowly sat down. "No, Jong Ma. I want my coffee first." Caleb Cole frowned at me. "It's not good to drink coffee on an empty stomach." I impatiently replied, "You've always had a bad stomach, not me." "Caleb Cole, don't you understand what I said yesterday?" He didn't speak, his eyes turning as black as dead water. I ignored him and took a sip of my latte, feeling instantly refreshed. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. "Hello, I'm from breakfast delivery. Ms. Shen's panini is here." The delivery man's voice came through. Jong Ma immediately went to answer the door and brought the food to me. Back when I was studying abroad, a cup of coffee and a McDonald's panini for breakfast became a habit. But Caleb Cole hated the idea of me having coffee for breakfast. And he didn't want me eating this kind of fast food. After he saw it the first time, his disgusted look made me give it up. I didn't want to be the odd one out in his world. But now, whatever. I couldn't care less. There's a chef at home. An expert designed nutrition meals. If you insist on eating this unclean, unhealthy stuff, I think you're treating your health like a joke. Caleb Cole couldn't take it anymore and spoke. "You don't need to worry about me." I took a big bite of the panini, mumbling, "Cheese and juicy beef patty. So satisfying." I closed my eyes in pleasure. Caleb Cole was momentarily speechless. His reprimand stuck in his throat. "You're really happy eating this?" he asked, puzzled. "Duh, who doesn't love junk food?" "Oh, except you." I gave him a sidelong glance, sarcasm in my voice. After breakfast, Caleb Cole and I went to the company as usual. But on the way, he was quieter than usual, as if deep in thought. I couldn't be bothered to pry. So I took out my phone and replied to a message from Ethan Cole. "Sis-in-law, I've missed you already. When can we meet next?" Like a dog wagging its tail, I typed back. "When Caleb Cole is not home." Didn't realize sis-in-law likes such excitement. Can't help but ask, "Were you satisfied with me last night?" The reply came quickly. I couldn't help but start reminiscing, my cheeks suddenly flushing. I smirked and typed back, "Pretty good. Keep it up. Who are you chatting with?" Caleb Cole's voice suddenly interrupted. I was a little surprised, since he never bothered about my social life. I froze for a moment, then pressed the screen off. "A friend. Male or female?" he asked again. I glanced at him impatiently. "Caleb Cole, when did you become so nosy?" My words seemed to stop him cold, and he awkwardly turned his head away. "Sorry, I overstepped." And then, silence fell again. After arriving at the company, we dove straight into work. At lunchtime, my assistant entered with the takeout I'd ordered. "Ms. Shen, you won't believe what I saw today." "What?" I asked, curious. "Mr. K actually ordered a McDonald's burger for lunch. He's usually so disciplined. I never thought he'd eat something like that." As soon as the words left his mouth, the office door opened. "Ms. Shen, Mr. K wants to see you in his office." I was intrigued. And without hesitation, I got up and walked toward Caleb Cole's office. As soon as I entered, I saw a half-eaten burger in the trash bin. I couldn't help but smile wryly. Of course, Caleb Cole wouldn't be easily influenced by me. I then looked up, my gaze landing on Caleb Cole's desk. There was a pink lunchbox on it, filled with braised pork, a dish Caleb Cole would never normally eat. But the empty space in the box told me he had eaten several pieces. In fact, that made the burger in the trash even more ironic. Savannah Shen, long time no see. Chloe Bennett's soft voice rang out. I snapped back from my dazed thoughts and noticed her. Every time we met, she always called me Savannah Shen, despite being called sister-in-law by everyone else. In Caleb Cole's words, she was his little sister. But she had never called me sister-in-law, almost as if protesting my position. I was worried Caleb Cole wouldn't like the burger, so I brought him lunch. You don't mind, do you? My gaze darkened slightly. Caleb Cole, someone with strong boundaries, never informed me of his schedule, much less little things like meals. And he had even told me he didn't like chatting online. But with Chloe Bennett, it seemed they shared every little detail of their day. I couldn't help but feel bitter. I answered her coldly, what's there to mind? You're not going to poison him, are you? Caleb Cole's hand froze. Savannah Shen. I ignored his reprimanding tone and coldly asked, if you have something to say it quickly. You're not the only one who hasn't had lunch. Caleb Cole sighed and rubbed his forehead. There's a charity gala tonight. Come with me to pick out a dress this afternoon. We'll go together? I hesitated. Normally, Caleb Cole would have someone pick a dress for me and send it to me. But today, he was asking me to pick one out myself and even accompany me. Once again, I was surprised. Just as I was about to agree, Chloe Bennett interrupted. Caleb Cole, I've never been to such an event. Can I come along? If she came, it would be like announcing to the world that there was a third party between us. Caleb Cole disliked being the center of gossip. But when it came to Chloe Bennett, he always made exceptions. I crossed my arms and watched them, waiting for Caleb Cole's response. Chloe Bennett, it's not really appropriate for you to come with us. Just stay home tonight, okay? To my surprise, Caleb Cole refused. Chloe Bennett looked displeased. Caleb Cole raised his hand, fondly pinched her cheek. Be good, I'll bring you a gift after the gala. So, Caleb Cole knew how to pamper women. I suppressed the sour feeling in my chest, not wanting to watch their affectionate exchange, and turned to leave the office. At 3 p.m., Caleb Cole and I left the company and went to a private studio to pick out a dress. I immediately chose a sexy black backless gown, the kind I had always wanted. But when I stepped out in it, Caleb Cole seemed dissatisfied. This one shows too much skin. Let's try a different one. No, this is the one, I replied firmly. Caleb Cole furrowed his brows. Savannah Shen, you've been defying me lately. I sneered. You let me pick. But then don't let me make my own decision. Don't you see the contradiction? With that, I ignored Caleb Cole's dark expression and went straight to the car. There was silence the entire ride, the atmosphere in the car dropping to freezing point. Once we got out of the car, we put on our usual act, walking into the banquet hall hand in hand. This time, I felt several pairs of eyes on me. I pretended not to notice and walked calmly. But Caleb Cole stopped. The meticulous man took off his carefully selected suit jacket and draped it over my shoulders. I was confused, wanting to take it off. But he held it in place. Savannah Shen, I don't want them all to focus on you. I froze for a moment, my mind unclear. But my body was quickly guided by him to a seat at the guest table. The entire charity gala was boring for me. But Caleb Cole was busy taking 2 pictures. Afterward, we got back into the car together. And he spoke first. I have a business trip to Paris tonight. And I'll bring Chloe Bennett a gift. I'll have the driver take you home first. I absent-mindedly nodded, looking out the car window. Suddenly, I felt a cool sensation on my wrist. I turned to see Caleb Cole putting a green gemstone bracelet on my arm. I know you've been angry with me lately. This is an apology gift, okay? His voice was gentle, but I couldn't resist asking. Caleb Cole, do you know what color Chloe Bennett likes the most? Caleb Cole's hand froze for a second, but he answered without hesitation, pink. Why? So, at the auction, he bought a pink diamond necklace worth millions. In the next instant, I yanked my hand back and coldly said, Then you know that I hate green, right? I roughly took off the bracelet and threw it at him. This tacky color. Take it to your elders. Caleb Cole instinctively caught the bracelet, staring at me blankly for a long time. He spoke softly. Sorry, what color do you like? I'll get you something else. No need. I don't need your compensation. I slumped back in the seat. Caleb Cole's eyes darkened considerably. Savannah Shen, when I get back, I'll take the time to get to know you better. I scoffed, turning my head away. Too bad, he wouldn't have the chance. After we got home, Caleb Cole had just left when Ethan Cole arrived. We were like two wild beasts, tangling together night after night. He was relieving his desire, and I was releasing my anger. 10 days later, I received a text from Chloe Bennett. It was a dozen photos of her and Caleb Cole. They were hugging under the illuminated Eiffel Tower, holding hands by the Seine River. Caleb Cole never mixed business with personal matters. But this time, he took Chloe Bennett on the business trip. I remembered when I had my car accident. He was overseas at a conference, and didn't come back, only sending a bouquet through his assistant. I scrolled to the last photo. It was their wedding photo taken at Chalian Castle. Do you know you're a thorn in Caleb Cole's heart? He wanted to marry me back then. But you cut in. Because of you. Caleb Cole feels more guilty. And the more he feels guilty, the more he loves me. Can you understand your place? Why don't you have the decency to step aside? Looking at these provocative texts, I felt nothing. After all, I already knew. Chloe Bennett was Caleb Cole's savior. So he had to repay her. I'd heard this explanation countless times, and had understood it countless times. But today, I selected all the chat history and sent it to Caleb Cole. Less than half a minute later, his call came in. Savannah Shen. Things aren't what you think. Chloe Bennett was just acting up. I'll have a talk with her. When I come back, I'll explain and make her apologize to you. I didn't respond. Just hung up the phone. How could he bear to scold Chloe Bennett? Last time, Chloe Bennett purposely fed my dog chocolate, killing it. And Caleb Cole's punishment? He only forbade her from eating chocolate for a week. I never expected that the next morning, Caleb Cole came home earlier than expected. He was back early. I was sitting on the couch drinking water when he walked toward me. At that moment, I could smell the faint sweet fragrance that belonged to Chloe Bennett. My stomach churned, and I threw the water cup aside, rushing to the bathroom to vomit. Caleb Cole followed in with concern. Savannah Shen. What's wrong with you? I trembled but didn't answer. After I wiped my mouth, Caleb Cole grabbed my wrist and pulled me outside. It's your irregular eating habits causing your stomach problems. Let's go. I'll take you to get checked out. I followed him outside, but calmly said, let's go to the gynecology department. Caleb Cole stopped dead in his tracks, staring at me in shock. You are pregnant? That's impossible. I haven't touched you lately. I scoffed. Impossible? I never said the child was yours. Caleb Cole froze, his pupils shrinking, as if he had just heard the most unbelievable thing in his life. Savannah Shen. Do you know what you're saying? He asked coldly. I slowly pulled my hand from his grip, laughing recklessly. Of course I know what I'm saying. The child is not yours. Then whose is it? Caleb Cole asked coldly. I turned my head away. You're not qualified to know. Caleb Cole nodded repeatedly, gritting his teeth so hard that his temples bulged. He was furious. I've never seen Caleb Cole this angry. To be precise, it's because I'm so angry. I've seen him cold and composed, rushing into a bar and beating up the man who harassed Chloe Bennett. I've seen him order his subordinates to take revenge on Chloe Bennett's parasitic parents, his eyes bloodthirsty. But all of this was for Chloe Bennett. As for me, no matter what I do, he is always so indifferent, so cold, like he's facing a lifeless decoration. Now I finally understand. Caleb Cole gets angry when he's cuckolded too. Interesting. I couldn't help but laugh. And that made Caleb Cole's anger reach its peak. He grabbed my hand tightly and tried to drag me out. Get rid of the child. Cut ties with that man. Savannah Shen. This is the final line for you. You can make mistakes, but just this once. Make a mistake? The moment Caleb Cole shoved me into the passenger seat, I grabbed his collar and slapped him hard. Caleb Cole. Was it not a mistake when you took wedding photos with another woman behind your wife's back? Caleb Cole turned his head. My manicure marks already scratched across his cheek. That's something I owe Chloe Bennett. She saved me in that fire. I must fulfill her wish. I stared at him. How long do you plan to keep compensating her? 5 years? 10 years? Or until I die. Will you keep compensating her? What? Sleeping with me, having my child, and on the other side calling her sister, saying you love her. Caleb Cole, you don't find it disgusting? I do. Caleb Cole froze. My words were like a bucket of water dousing his fiery anger. Savannah Shen, it's not what you think between Chloe Benetto and me. Caleb Cole weakly tried to explain. Suddenly, his phone rang. I quickly grabbed it from his pocket, pointing to the screen with Chloe Benetto's name. Are you going to answer it? Caleb Cole hesitated for a moment, then took it and pressed the hang up button. I raised an eyebrow. This was probably the first time he hung up on Chloe Benetto. After all, even when we were in bed, he would still answer. We haven't solved our issue. I don't want anyone interrupting. Will you go to the hospital with me for a checkup? If you really are pregnant with someone else's child, it has to be terminated. Before I could respond, Caleb Cole's phone rang again. It was Chloe Benetto. He still hung up, but the screen lit up again. He said, something urgent may have happened with Chloe Benetto. I need to take this call. I gave him a sarcastic look, clearly amused. When the phone connected, Chloe Benetto's crying voice came through. Caleb Cole. I fell off the chair while grabbing something. My leg hurts so much. Can you come save me? Sob, sob, sob. Upon hearing this, Caleb Cole's face instantly changed. Don't worry, I'll come right away. He looked at me, finally showing a trace of guilt. I'm sorry. Something really urgent happened with Chloe Benetto. I have to go. I pushed him away and got out of the passenger seat. Caleb Cole, you're ridiculous. With that, I turned and started walking toward the house. But the next moment, my wrist was grabbed by Caleb Cole. He yanked me back, pushed me against the car, and kissed my lips fiercely. I widened my eyes, startled, and used all my strength to push him away, slapping him again. Now, the handsome Caleb Cole had blood marks on both sides of his face, turning into a complete clown. I wiped my lips like something dirty had touched them, my voice sharp. Caleb Cole, what the hell is wrong with you? Savannah Shen, you are my wife. I won't let anyone covet you. I'll find out who he is, and I'll take his life. I found it funny. If he knew it was his own younger brother who had put the cuckold on him, would he still be so arrogant? Don't worry, you can't take his life. The one who's going to end up in ruins is you. I pushed him away, resolutely walking forward. Caleb Cole stood behind. After today, I'll handle my relationship with Chloe Benetto. I didn't even look back. Who cares? Caleb Cole still left. After he left, I called Ethan Cole. Come pick me up and take me to the hospital. What happened? Ethan Cole's breath became tense. I smiled faintly. I might be pregnant. Wait for me 10 minutes. The same phrase, but Ethan Cole never made me wait. He was always on time, and considerate. Over the past 10 days, he'd bring me cakes from my favorite shop. He'd buy me jewelry that matched my taste. Even in the mornings, a latte and panini were already on the table when I woke up. Ethan Cole seemed to understand me, far better than Caleb Cole. If the person I had married back then had been him, would my 5 years have been wasted? Would the happiness of my life have arrived sooner? I stood in the yard, watching the yellow leaves fall. I couldn't help but smile and shake my head. There are no what-ifs in this world. All that's left are the results. But results can also be like the leaves cast away. New ones will grow again, and my new leaf, my time, is almost here. As I thought of this, Ethan Cole's car pulled up just in front of the house. He hurried out of the car, his expression complex. Let's go. We'll get a checkup first. I was much more relaxed compared to him. Looking at his slightly disheveled white coat, I asked with a smile. Drive. K. Sneaking out of your shift? Ethan Cole helplessly replied. Got someone to cover for me. Hurry up and get in. I'll help you. This time, I couldn't help but laugh. Hey, I'm just pregnant. No need to be so cautious. Ethan Cole shook his head. Of course I have to be careful. This baby is the condition for me to marry you. You don't know how long I've waited for this day. I allowed him to help me into the car, asking with a smile. How long? 5 years? After all, 5 years ago was when I first met Ethan Cole. At that family dinner, his gaze was as hot as fire when he looked at me. In the days that followed, every time he looked at me, it was the same kind of gaze. I knew very well that he coveted me. That's why he boldly invited me to have him cuckold Caleb Cole. But Ethan Cole said, 8 years. I've waited 8 years. I was stunned. 8 years. We've known each other for that long? Yes. At the exchange student gathering 8 years ago, I saw you there. Ethan Cole answered truthfully. It left me more confused. Before that gathering, there was a student, from a poor family, who was invited. He'd heard someone was covering the party costs. But when he arrived, He was asked, in front of everyone, why he hadn't paid. The fee was at least $30, which was his whole week's food money, so he couldn't pay, and everyone laughed at him. It was you who stood up, pulled the tablecloth and ruined the food, and knocked over the collection box. I remember clearly. You grabbed the host by the collar and said, I continued. Did you get some terminal illness and no money for treatment? Trying to scam donations? Too bad. Using that kind of money for treatment, you'd die faster. Ethan Cole chuckled softly. Back then, I thought this girl was really something, but I didn't expect you'd also give that poor student some of the money, saying it was for him to visit a group of idiots for their hourly wage. I looked at the distant sky, feeling nostalgic. Back then I had such a violent temper. Good thing my family had power, otherwise I would have beaten them to death. Ethan Cole replied. I thought you were a righteous heroine. That image has always stayed with me. Unfortunately, when I learned about you later, you were about to marry my brother, and when I saw you standing beside him 5 years ago, you had changed, removed all your thorns, became a tame bird in a cage. At that moment, I really wanted to save you, wanted to bring back the thorns on you. Luckily, you found them yourself. I nodded. A bird in a cage looks at the sky every day, and will always long for it. I'm glad I didn't give up on myself. When we got to the hospital, Ethan Cole took me straight to the obstetrics and gynecology department. Half an hour later, the results came out, and I really was pregnant with Ethan Cole's child. It was also the bargaining chip in the discussions between my parents and the Cole family about changing marriages. Business marriages involve too many interests. They're hard to dissolve, but Ethan Cole is also from the Cole family, so if my husband is switched to Ethan Cole, essentially, it's still a marriage within the Cole family. Ethan Cole was ecstatic when he saw the results. His eyes red, almost tearing up. He hugged me tightly and joyfully said, Savannah Shen, I can finally have you. I hugged him back. Just as I was about to speak, I heard a familiar voice in my ear. Ethan Cole, what are you doing? I looked over his shoulder and saw Caleb Cole pushing Chloe Benetto, who was in a wheelchair, coming toward us. He was in a hurry, and in the end, he even let go of the wheelchair handle and rushed toward us. Unexpectedly, he grabbed Ethan Cole, raised his hand, and tried to hit his face. Ethan Cole firmly caught his hand. In that moment, the two were at odds. Ethan Cole, do you know who you're holding? That's my wife, your sister-in-law. Ethan Cole sneered. From now on, she's not my sister-in-law. Caleb Cole froze. What do you mean? I scoffed, handing him the pregnancy test report. Caleb Cole, congratulations. The Cole family now has an heir. You can finally boldly pursue your true love. Caleb Cole lowered his fist and took the report from my hand with trembling hands. When he saw the words, confirmed pregnancy, he instinctively stepped back several paces. He looked up at me, his voice trembling. Your child, is it Ethan Cole's? I nodded calmly. Yes. No wonder you said I couldn't do anything to him. Savannah Shen, you really are something. To get back at me, you had your own brother put a cuckold on me, but Ethan Cole stood in front of me. Caleb Cole, what right do you have to blame Savannah Shen? If you really cared about her, you should know, I've liked her since 5 years ago. This truth hit Caleb Cole's heart like a lightning strike. A surge of anger and sorrow filled his chest, and once again, he grabbed Ethan Cole by the collar. Why, how dare you? She's your sister-in-law. But I liked her before you. If it weren't for you getting there first, I would have married her. I would have given her a good life, instead of making her waste 5 years with you. Tolerating your eccentricities. Tolerating your mistresses on the side. Ethan Cole shouted back. Caleb Cole heard this and turned to me. Savannah Shen, is that how you feel? That marrying me has been painful for you? Yes, it's painful. Caleb Cole, the thing I regret the most in life is not resisting our marriage. By the time Caleb Cole snapped back to reality, I was already walking away with Ethan Cole. Behind him, the woman he owed, Chloe Benetto, was crying and calling his name. The repeated, Caleb Cole GE, gave him a headache. He had never felt this way before, wanting Chloe Benetto to disappear from his sight. I'll have my assistant find a nurse for you. Stay here, I'm going back now, Caleb Cole said, somewhat dazed, to Chloe Benetto. With that, he took slow steps toward the hospital exit. But Chloe Benetto wouldn't allow it. She tried to get up from the chair, but her legs wobbled, and she quickly fell to the ground. Caleb Cole GE, please don't leave me. She cried out from the ground, tearing at his heart. Caleb Cole stopped in his tracks and looked back at her. Chloe Benetto, do you know what it feels like to be abandoned? Chloe Benetto froze, thinking he was pitying her, and cried even harder. It hurts so much. Caleb Cole GE. My heart feels like it's being pierced with 1,000 knives. I can't live without you. Please don't leave. Caleb Cole suddenly realized. So this is how Savannah Shen must have felt every time I abandoned her. No wonder she got so angry. He sighed, his sadness turning into a conclusion, and turned away, walking resolutely. No matter how loudly Chloe Benedetto cried behind him, he walked away with determination. Back home, Caleb Cole sat at his usual desk for a long time. The house was silent, just as it had always been. Because he didn't allow anyone to disturb him while working, I had always been careful to stay quiet when he was in his study. But now, it seemed my personality was incredibly disruptive. Caleb Cole unconsciously opened the drawer, and inside lay a pack of women's cigarettes. They had been taken from me when he caught me smoking, but he hadn't thrown them away, leaving them here untouched. Out of curiosity, Caleb Cole took one, lit it, and tried to smoke it like I did. He took a deep drag. But it made him cough uncontrollably. Tears welled up in his eyes from the coughing fit. Yet, when he recovered, he took another drag. And kept smoking until the cigarette burned down. Caleb Cole didn't know why he was doing this. He just wanted to do what I had done. Things he never allowed himself to do, but things I loved doing. The next morning, he woke up in my bed. He had expected to lie awake all night, but when he smelled my scent on the bed, he felt a strange peace. It felt like I was still there by his side. So, he had finally fallen asleep at 3 a.m. When he woke up, the breakfast table had the porridge and small dishes he always liked, except for the cup of coffee that was oddly placed there. Is Madam awake yet? That's for her, Zhang Ma explained when she saw Caleb Cole staring at the coffee. Caleb Cole acted like he didn't hear it and drank half the cup of coffee in one go. The bitterness spread in his mouth, but it couldn't compete with the bitterness in his heart. Zhang Ma stared at his strange behavior, unsure of what to say. After just a minute, Caleb Cole's stomach began to hurt. His face turned pale, and he crouched down, clutching his stomach, sweat dripping down his forehead. Master, your stomach can't handle coffee. Why are you being so reckless today? Zhang Ma hurried to get medicine. Caleb Cole took the medicine and curled up on the floor for almost 20 minutes before he started to feel better. Looking at Zhang Ma's worried face, he asked, Zhang Ma, do you think Savannah Shen and I are really a match? Zhang Ma pursed her lips and remained silent. She had wanted to tell me about Caleb Cole's stomachache, but when she noticed I wasn't home, she guessed what had happened between us. Caleb Cole let out a self-deprecating laugh, struggling to get up and stumbling toward the bed. But he accidentally noticed the walk-in closet in my room. He staggered into it and immediately saw the jewelry box, which was filled with blue jewels and diamonds. So you like blue, Caleb Cole murmured. Suddenly, he spotted a necklace made of sandalwood beads deep inside the jewelry box. He trembled as he picked it up. The bead was familiar to him, so familiar it felt engraved in his bones. 10 years ago, during the fire, he had been unconscious when a girl saved him. Caleb Cole had always thought that girl was Chloe Benedetto because the first person he saw when he woke up was her. At that time, he had tightly clutched a sandalwood bead, which he had accidentally torn off the girl who saved him. Caleb Cole had asked Chloe Benedetto if the bead was hers, and she had admitted it. That was why he had feelings for her afterward. But now, Caleb Cole realized he had been mistaken. The person he owed had always been me. He had loved the wrong person. For 10 years. Caleb Cole was overwhelmed with sorrow, a deep sense of regret spreading through his heart. After the confrontation at the hospital last night, he had intended to end things with me and let me go. Because he thought his feelings for me were just a 5-year habit, one he could eventually break. But now, Caleb Cole knew he couldn't let go. The next moment, he rushed out of the house, got into the car, and drove straight to the Shen family manor. His guess was right. I was indeed at the Shen family manor. When he arrived, both our families had just finished discussing the marriage switch. At that moment, Kay's parents were about to leave. They ran into each other just in time. Kay's father slapped Caleb Cole as soon as he saw him. You ungrateful son. How dare you keep that shoe woman for 5 years? Do you have any conscience? What about the Shen family? What about Savannah Shen? Caleb Cole lowered his head, his voice filled with regret. Dad, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I've come to apologize to Savannah Shen now. Kay's father sneered. There's no need. Since Savannah Shen and Ethan Cole are in love, you should break up. Let Ethan Cole marry her. Caleb Cole's face turned pale. No, I don't agree. Savannah Shen is my wife. I won't allow her to marry anyone else. You can't stop it. Savannah Shen has already completely given up on you. How are you going to win her back? Kay's mother said in disappointment. then paused before continuing. Besides, Savannah Shen is pregnant now. You can't be the father of her child. Caleb Cole clenched his fists. I can. I'm willing to raise the child as my own. But I don't want to. I held Ethan Cole's hand and slowly walked out. Caleb Cole, it's over between us. Don't bother me anymore. Caleb Cole's eyes reddened. Savannah Shen, I know now that the person who saved me from the fire wasn't Chloe Benetto. It was you. She lied to me. I've loved the wrong person all these years. I should have loved you. In fact, over these 5 years with you, I've unknowingly developed feelings for you. Please give me a chance to start over. I was shocked. The man I saved back then was you? How did you find out? Caleb Cole opened his hand, and the sandalwood bead lay quietly in his palm. I felt a pang of melancholy. That was a gift from my grandmother, one I had worn for many years. 10 years ago, it was torn off when I saved someone. I had blamed the person I saved for a long time. I never imagined that person would be Caleb Cole. There was indeed a fateful connection between us. As I thought about this, my disdain for him grew. Caleb Cole, whether you made the mistake of loving the wrong person or recognizing the wrong one, it's your choice, your mistake. I won't take responsibility for it or compromise for you. Our relationship ends here. The marriage is terminated, and we will never meet again. Caleb Cole's tears fell suddenly. In front of so many people, he easily exposed his vulnerability and misery. But no one felt sorry for him anymore. Ethan Cole and I were preparing to go abroad to hide from the gossip in the circle. In the days leading up to our departure, Caleb Cole changed his cold and proud nature. He came to the Shen house every day, persistently pestering me. The man who had never put any effort into giving me gifts now seemed to want to make up for everything. Sometimes he came with a blue bouquet. Other times with blue jewelry. Even blue haute couture dresses. But I rejected them all. I had already said I didn't care. But Caleb Cole's skin had suddenly thickened. No matter how many times he was kicked out by bodyguards or even physically thrown out. The next day, he would still show up. He went from the aloof swan to a clingy puppy. This made me even more disgusted. Fortunately, our paperwork for going abroad was processed quickly. On the day we left, Kay's parents found an excuse to keep Caleb Cole from following us. But he eventually found out about our departure and broke free from his parents' control, speeding to the airport to see me, even if it was for the last time. But just as he reached the last intersection near the airport, a truck suddenly rushed out from around the corner. In that instant, the two vehicles collided. Caleb Cole felt the world spin. His whole body was in pain, and he collapsed onto the steering wheel. At that moment, a plane flew slowly across the distant sky. Caleb Cole's vision was blurred with blood, but he struggled to lift his head, blinking, trying to see everything in front of him. But it just kept getting more and more blurry. Before losing consciousness, he murmured, "Savannah Shen, I'll give my life back to you. If there's a next life, I'll love you properly."